Wake up, God damn it! Welcome to MARKETcast with Unk and Market Monk. Morning, P. How's your week?
It was good. Just a lot of continuation. Stayed on the crypto plays mostly, and a couple others. Some earnings, some SaaS went off like I thought it would. So um, it's hard to feel like you get enough in some of those moves, but it was nice to already have some shares in a few things like Salesforce and Workday. Those were kind of on autopilot for me.
Yeah, a lot of those, I guess, set and forget plays. What up, CLSK? Took off last week, and then previous winners.
Yeah,
Just the previous winners that I don't know how else to say it, but I got from our cycle. They're not my previous winners anymore. They're our previous winners. Um, and what I mean by that is I look for like the double parameters, but play and big were really good for me. Crypto in general, you know, bullish on crypto, P, huh? Jesus. The
yeah,
little things that come out of this voice session. Like last week, I think I said it twice in each or once in each session, but not a good week to like pivot from what you're on. Just stay what you're on, and I think that panned out for pretty much everybody last week. Um, Elephant in the room for me, man. Wolf kicked my ass. I didn't double down on it like Clove, which probably would have got me out of trouble. But I haven't took a full scale holy shit candle loss in a while, so felt good to be alive, I guess, in that regard.
you just sold it after hours then when
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
or
it
was
might.
it pre-market or whichever it was?
Yeah, I sold it right when it went too far for me. It was either buy more or get out
Yeah.
of it, and I just got a short leash on those losses like that right now. It just fell apart and didn't have a level. If I had a lower line, I probably would have waited, but I really didn't have anything besides hopefully hoping a psych level held. Um, and we really didn't even get that. So yeah, I was in at like 360. So yeah, I just had a bad entry. My entry was shit, P.
I mean it happens, for sure. And
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
I've had several. um, well, Ulta is a good example. So I did well with it, but I really should have just went ahead and cleared it all because this 480 level, I didn't really follow my own rule of kind of to it, not through it, because I thought it was going to break through, and that was just a mistake. So I didn't take a big loss or anything, but now I'm just kind of in it. It's at 472. It had been got up to like 479 or something like that. And so now I'm just kind of parked there, got to decide, what to do. Whereas like I could have just cleared it, moved on, and waited for it to set up again, which it's going to do, in this zone. So that was my mistake this week. Um, one one observation I have about coin. So I think coin's surprising a lot of people that it kind of just keeps going. But if you look at what happened when it broke down,
Mhm,
to get to into the 60s,
mhm.
like I remember asking you, I was like, is 200, does that mean anything as support? And you were like, no. And then it, and then it collapsed. That was when I actually first shorted it, was when I got that confirmation from you back in March 22. But the thing is, it fell through that zone so fast that there's just nothing here. I mean,
Yep.
to me, that like it can just go the other direction all the way through it. And it depends on news and BTC prices and all of that. But I brought up that specific one because there are a lot of stocks like that where they're kind of they're breaking out and they're getting into an area where there's some big gaps there and they can just go ahead and fill those. And I don't think you know bearish macro perceptions or whatever the market has to pull back or anything like that. I don't think that should really guide what you're doing. I think it should be what's the flow? Is there a good level here? And I still think playing the upside is easier
Yes.
for near term anyway.
You can run the tape back on coin. I mean, I use this candle. I know what I used. It was 115 ish. When this area broke, I said 180. I'm pretty sure it was 180. It might have been 160, but just looking how this still is because it hasn't been
Yeah.
touched, I'm pretty sure it was 180. But basically the middle of this fattiness. But I mean, look how much more share distribution. This is a really new stock, so it's gonna be sideways. But like, I'm not worried about resistance on the top end until 230. But you had to get back over
Yeah.
that 115. You had to get back over this candle right here.
Because that's where they killed it last time, where we were able to
Yeah,
one
yeah,
more shot at it in
yeah.
the '70s. Yeah.
Last two times they killed it here, technically last August, and they killed it here, hot penny summer, and they killed it here this year, basically in August again. But what I like here. Let me fix this chart because this is a good example. The one thing I kind of get a little angry at Goose about, to be honest with you. If there's anything I don't like that Goose does, come on, John. It's this right here. So we'll get this like trend line. This isn't going to work on this chart. Let me go 3 year. We'll get this trend line. This will work better. Coming here on the down, right? Like wanting to
Yeah.
break that trend line isn't it for me. If you're gonna do a trend line, I want it on the bottom because I'm looking for higher lows, right? And then when you get to that level of
Mm.
support where you think it's gonna thin out, that's where you go all in at if it breaks. Yeah, I think that works better for options because you're chasing. I mean, I'd rather buy the bottom off a higher low like we have multiple times here, right? That just is a better setup. But you're 100% right. That's the gap setup people should be looking for currently, especially on these big names. The 9 out of 10 names, as we say.
Exactly. And I don't know what it was about, because I mean, it's anecdotal evidence, but like it seems like the Twitter people tend to want to short crypto more than they're just waiting for it to collapse. There's a lot of those kind of accounts out there that just tweet out that stuff, every every single day. But I've seen it enough that Bitcoin can just keep going. I mean, especially with the ETF news coming up, and we're seeing it thinking about breaking 40K. I just don't see a good short entry, and I'm someone who has shorted MSTR and coin, but you're just really fighting a pretty strong trend at this point.
Yeah, and there are two ways to approach it. You just go off historical chart levels. We're going to run back there. You've seen it with, here, I'll bring it up because this plays over for us. But Mara was a great example. We had 17 and 10 on that chart way back. They'll come
Yeah.
back. Your levels will come back. Trust me, they'll come back. You'll get higher lows. We'll continue on the trend. So, I mean, I would just play levels to the chart. And if not, you got to get into book value and how much they actually hold and what does. This is the same thing I stress with, I'm trying to stress with Pele right now on PSNY. And we had the conversation 2 weeks ago. So if PSNY moves $1, right? That's $2 billion in market cap. It's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge. So
Yeah.
people need to convert, like MSTR. We'll do a little homework for you. Like you need to understand how many Bitcoin they have, how many they make a month, so you kind of know the direction they're going, and then how that affects the market cap if Bitcoin moves $1,000. Is it like a 1-for-1 ratio, or does Bitcoin need to move? Like what is $1,000 in Bitcoin, $100 in MSTR's bottom line, and figuring
So
out that
yeah,
is important.
they've outperformed Bitcoin in general this year, and I think they're at like 1.6 billion unrealized gains. The thing about them though, they can't sell it. If they were to sell that much, it would tank the price of
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they're not going to sell it. But just in terms of what they did I mean, I did a whole write up on them. This kind of struggling software analytics company to go this direction. Is impressive. I mean, what they pulled off. And I know people love to bag on Sailor, but maybe one of the best moves I've seen in a company do all year was just to stay on it when they when they bought, and um, average they were able to get into this next move we're making. I mean, it just all really worked out for them, and for anyone trading it on the way up. You never feel like you got enough, but it's got such a range that it does let you back in, and that's what finding the levels has been all about for us.
Yeah, the 14 million shares really helps that, and those are the niches that I would be looking for in general. Like again,
Yeah.
the fundamental side of it. Like you need to find an advantage over there, or in their bottom line, find a disadvantage and or an advantage. Because those, I mean, they're going to separate if it's more than a pet rock, they're going to separate winners from losers. It's just how it's going to be. So kind of understanding who the winners and losers are going to be, I think is important. It's probably Square and PayPal. Sorry.
I agree.
um,
Hood maybe too.
No, good shout. Good shout. You do a little victory lap there.
Yeah.
No, I'm 100% on the same page with you there. 5-year process, though. You're seeing it. You know, I wanted to bring that up. Good time to bring that up. Maybe more of an entrenched industry, but you're seeing that with cable right now, right? Like the sports part of the cable is being pried away from the regional networks and to these online companies, Google and Apple and stuff like that. I'm waiting for Microsoft to get into the battle. But the same thing's going to happen with the cryptos. Like the good companies are going to take anything that's proprietary from the bad companies, and you're just going to separate winners from losers.
I've never done the YouTube NFL, but if you look at how Amazon does the NFL, you know, they'll give you got 3 different broadcasts or whatever, and you know all these different options, and I mean they just really leverage their whole platform. It's smooth. It's not choppy or anything. So, yeah, I do think that side of it of streaming is just going to continue to kind of coalesce around some big people, and whoever buys Fubo, that's kind of what I'm waiting for as far as that sector goes. I don't. I mean, I'm not that interested in like Dish Network or some of those other ones, but yeah, that's the big one to me.
The Fubo thing right now is because they have everything. That's what makes them unique. Still to this day, is they have everything. Whereas like if you want this, that, or the other, you got to go to a different subscriber. What I like on Apple, I don't want to get too much on this, but I watch the soccer stuff. Obviously, that you can watch it in Spanish or English. Like it took. How does someone not figure that out? Right? Like, I watch a lot of soccer, and usually it's the other way. So I can't wait till they get an American button on there for the Spanish broadcasts, because I like watching foreign games.
Yeah, when I was in graduate school, I was working for this professor, and I don't know why, but she assumed I could read Portuguese, and I was just a new grad student. I was thinking like, well, I almost didn't want to tell her because I could read some Spanish and I know Latin really well, and I'm like, you know, she just wanted me to translate this article for her. So I stupidly didn't tell her I don't know Portuguese. But what I did was like I worked my way through it, and I would practice it by watching soccer broadcasts. That was how I would like kind of pick up on the conversational aspects of it. But yeah,
Portuguese
I don't know why
hard.
she made that assumption.
Portuguese is
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, it's a tough one.
It's not easy. Talk a little bit of commodities here. I know oil's usually on the top of your head.
Yeah. So I wanted to wait on oil, and I think the oil futures had another rough day, $74. The stocks themselves are not just plummeting or destroyed or anything like that. I still think that as long as we're over like 68 or so, I think we're all right with oil. But I mean, I don't know really what to make of it, other than the market's not interpreting the geopolitics very positively. So I look at something like Oxy. I'm kind of assuming that we're going to get a tap at 57. That's probably where I'd be interested there. So with any oil, I think for me, it's not a time for new ones. It's time for previous levels, previous winners, careful scale in, and I still think we might have a little more downside before we get there.
Dude, my gas is pinned on $3.99 out here. If anything's manipulated in this world, it's oil. that's
for sure.
My toast this morning. Yeah, well, I was wrong, so I'm just waiting for you here. I'm surprised. No, I'm with you on the whole real world side. I mean, how did we just move all that equipment to the Middle East? And our strategic oil reserve is still under like 30%, I think. And the price is going down. That just doesn't make no sense to me. Um, Same with natural gas, P.
I will say that
Might be a little pivot there, but I'm surprised that's not. I mean, because it's cold again, and I mean, are we just not deep enough into the season on the natural gas?
um, yeah, I mean, I cleared out of UNG and I was just waiting. The way it broke down below 6
Been waiting
concerned me. So yeah, we're just waiting there. I don't have any good good answers on that. I think the South American names might be a place to look. Um, I still see like PBR having a pretty strong trend. A lot of 17C leaps on that. So that might be a place to look. I would say that whales are still positioned in Exxon, where it's not under 100. It's just not going to last very long. So I'd look like a day where
Oh yeah, yeah.
it drops 3%. I think you just go ahead and grab it, no matter what oil's doing. I'm still pretty confident in that. So but that's kind of where we are. Like whole sector wise, I'm just not seeing the options flow in it yet.
So correct my paper here if I'm seeing this wrong, but um, oil is holding up better, but probably going to have tighter upside range when it does come around in its normal cycle. Natural gas, we just can't find a floor in, but that could be probably the most volatile thing coming in the next 6 months.
I would say so.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I'm seeing that.
so, like, if you look at so like the leap positioning for UNG, 10C leaps, 14C leaps
Yeah.
for 2025. That's all plausible.
Yeah, I'm just surprised. I mean, it has a lot to do with Europe still and their demand, but I just don't see us having as big of a. I just don't see it dropping off from last year like it did. I mean, we're not. This thing was $20 last year. It's the ETF though, correct? Not that it moves the same way, but the price in general shouldn't be this far down. I mean, we're not. The price of natural gas doesn't reflect that, in my opinion.
No, it's oversold, but it's why they call it the Widowmaker. Because it'll just keep killing.
Keep killing it.
Yeah. Ah, man, sorry.
Oh yeah, if y'all don't know, Professor's sick. You're gonna have to deal with it. We're still here working. Still here working
Yeah.
for you guys. Yeah. So what? Commodities probably January. We're just talking about and getting ready now. Does that seem legit? Or maybe late December?
Yeah. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for March and May contracts, and that's going to give me the direction.
Okay.
January is too close, so positioning for March and May, I'll be watching that, and I think over the next couple weeks we'll see some of those names.
Okay. So that kind of historically lines up with the cycle in general, because I mean, when we started our room two years ago in March, you were knee deep into the oil already. Like it was already going.
Yeah.
So just kind of this first quarter into the first quarter, it seems like good stuff. Good stuff. Man.
Now I will say if you call up copper real quick on copper is it's 393 now, and my level there I was like, as long as it's over 350, we're good. And so now copper is looking to kind of punch through, and the stocks are a little bit behind this pricing of the actual metal. So I mean, FCX moved 5% on Friday, but you're going to start seeing 40C, 42C could make a run to 46. So of the stuff we trade, I'd expect to start seeing a little bit more copper in the mix.
Is SCCO? Is that one? Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. Mm-hmm.
That's the one I like. I just remember chart tickers that I like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. SCCO. It's a little more clean, I think. it doesn't get the attention in puts that FCX does.
Yeah, that's why we like it. That's why we like it. Rotate over here to SPY a little bit. Get this one out of the way. Um,
Yeah.
Man, keep on trucking, but we didn't technically get to 460. I watched SPY more than I have anything this week or any week before. I was pretty much looking for a fall to clear some positions, and it never really broke. High and tight again. What do we have? What do we have? We were both at you were at 61. I was at 60, so we were both just at the base. 59, pretty much same thing. We're all ballpark there. 47 for me, 44 for you on the bottom. Did we even get out? We didn't get out of 50s, did we? 53. So yeah, just high and tight again. Solid month. Solid month.
Didn't really give much of a pullback. It just doesn't last. I don't know what these people are talking about saying, 430, 420 in December. I just can't. I don't see that. I mean, there would just have to be some kind of catastrophic news at this point. As far as the positioning in options, what what stands out to me? You've got January 19th, 430p is bullish, so that's sold, and there's nothing to speak of above that, like to the ask side. There isn't an attempt to really bring this down much in inputs. There is further out September 9/20 2024 405p was just opened up on Friday. Quite a few of those out there. That's a long ways out. I don't know what really is actionable there, but a lot of it is just whales selling, peeling off a lot of these 12-15 puts. Puts still dominate everything. Most of them are sold right now though, so I'm not seeing any kind of trend reversal in options. So any kind of pullback is going to be, I think, TA based mostly.
Well, if we pull back, we're not pulling back below this. This 43 would be about it. I mean, I don't even know if we get that far back,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. And like you're saying, it's going to take something pretty substantial. I mean, you're going to know because it's going to be a pretty big news event. What standed out to me in what you just said was 430 is kind of their floor now, so they're finally being rational. Welcome to the club. I appreciate that because I mean we've kind of been like that was the fair market value for probably the better part of the year. So that being their floor now is promising in my regard. Hopefully some of the bears are gone. I just noticed every day because I come watch tape. There's just not sellers. There's not enough buyers to get you off the algos range, which is why we're here. But there is no sellers on pretty much everything. There's not. If you go to sell some shares, they go right away because you're the only one. That's what I'm noticing. And that goes for the bigger plays. No pun intended there. It's not for your SG or SNGXs. That's more for your plays that do have some volume. But there's more buyers right now. It just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, they scoop it up. That's for sure. And I just, with the stocks I follow, I'd mentioned Crowd before. How when Crowd broke 200 and had that momentum into earnings, I'm just kind of like, there isn't a scenario where the market crashes and Crowd looks that good. Those two things don't go together. It's not a stock that can just stand on its own like that. And there's a lot of like that, particularly in software, where they can run if the market's flat.
Yep.
They can get an extra push if the market's
good,
if the market's hot, if the market's selling way off.
They're
going to pull way back.
They're first.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. The first thing people dump. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm a totally and you see great call. I think you said in August if that's at 200, like your spy thesis has to change, and that's a good barometer overall.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a big part of what I do. Like I'm not just in this to just be right and stay stubborn and stick to that. I want to adapt based on conditions I see potentially and plan around that. Because I mean, when I say like stay nimble, that's what I mean. I don't. I thought we'd pull back further. I didn't think we'd go. I thought we'd maybe reject at 440 or something like that. But we didn't, and so I kind of look at, well, what's going on? What can I what can I trade to capitalize on this momentum that's still in kind of a good spot? And that's sort of my whole approach.
Oh yeah, to sum that up, P, I basically try to figure out the market cycle before it's too late and play the cycle. Like that's why last week was so good because I finally
Yeah,
wasn't stubborn. I was like, you know what? If it's going up, I'm going with it. And I mean that's
yeah,
it's easier to wait when you're in some swings, right? As a day trader, you feel like you got to catch
right.
the wave every single day, which is why I prefer the swing aspect of it a little bit more, um, sprinkled in with some day trading. Um, but like it got to a point to where it's like, all right, this market's telling you what it wants to do, and I hope we do it for another month because I'm ready now, right? And it's riding that cycle as long as I can, every time they happen. That's really what does it for me. So it's basically being patient,
Well,
and
like
then
with
when they turn the water on, fill your cup. It's not hard.
CLSK, I don't know how many times I needed to post what they were buying every single day
I
on
know.
that. So yeah,
Well, no, and from my standpoint on that, like I constantly check in because I'm holding the position, right? I just want to make sure it's still the same, and that's just what you got to do
yeah,
sometimes. I mean, this is what you got to do.
yeah.
I'm gonna go 455.09 here. This 20-day volume profile. It just looks pretty damn strong down here. This just looks pretty good. So I'm gonna pick this number, and then topside, man. I mean, if I don't give, it's more about how much range do I want to give it. $7, $10. What do I do here? So I'm gonna go four. We gotta get it at 463. Give me some good luck. Oh 07. So I got about an $8 range.
Very nice. So I'm gonna go 450, 446, and let's see, 462.15.
Pretty close there. So we're seeing the same, right? Do you My
Yeah.
thing is how far can we run to the top? What's your opinion on that?
Um.
Like
Well,
like JP
interestingly,
hints to a rate cut. How far can we run? I mean that's what we got this week.
I actually because Microsoft and Google and a couple others pulled back a little bit, I'm actually more optimistic
Yes.
that we could just punch all-time highs because they have a little bit of runway now to just head back through all-time highs. The percentages, the way that works out, that could carry us over. So the way that they pulled back, those start to turn around midweek or so. Yeah, I think that's feasible over the next couple weeks that we get there. Um, I as far as the rate cuts themselves when those happen, I think probably are kind of a bearish event. Um, it's just I've never really been through that as a trader, but I've just read enough to know that you get kind of a sell the news aspect there, but um, then you stabilize and move back up. But I think in general, the market people are saying the market is making unhealthy moves. It's whatever, the volatility is too violent, all that stuff. This is what the market usually does. It goes up. Um, it's built to go up. So I don't know why that people think that the market collapsing is somehow healthier for anyone, and that's just kind of wishful thinking. And and I just think that they got burned last year, and they want to be bears now, and they're not switching off of that. They feel like it's too late to switch off of that, and they're just kind of stuck in that mode, and they just find whatever justification they can for why everything should be lower, and that's just not a good way to trade.
Yeah, if this chart right here is your trading career, versus let's say start at 20, versus that chart your trading career, you're probably going to have a different opinion. Just saying.
Yeah,
That's probably going to make you have a different opinion. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. This is temporary. This is the standard. Nice 50.
yeah.
Nice 50 ride there. Um, let's have a little fun here. Bet a buck. End of the year. Spy is.
Nice. Let me see.
I'll go first since I asked the question. That'll be fair. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
67, 69. How you like that?
I'm gonna go 471.33.
Not too far off. Not too far off. So you can tell we don't get together pregame and say, "Hey, one of us go high and one of us go low."
Yeah.
It's just all off the top here for sure. Yeah, I think that we do see. I don't think we get to all time highs, Pete. I'll say that now. I don't think 480's it. Not in December. But I think we get close and then pull back a little bit that last week, like we always do. Just what I'm looking at for the month. Also, before we bounce out of this session, first of the month this week, so I expect that. I'm not expecting. I'm really looking for the volume like we got in November first week. That'll be a key to the month because we've had that 3-4 months now where the first week, whether it's buyers or sellers, it was sellers August, September, October. But they really control the whole month because they kind of push the market the first week and then there's not enough volume really to get back the rest of the time. It worked great in November because it was melt up. It was melt up. So I'm kind of mindful this week of that.
I'm with you on that.
Perfect. You got anything else? You were ready to get to work. I know you're not feeling great.
We get to work.
All right.